PoleFitnessDancing.com. And today in this video, I'm going to do a review on the XPert X Pole. Now, I get asked a lot, how much do I really recommend this pole versus the affordable no-brand pole that I sell on my website? And the focus is going to be on the X Pole here, but I'm going to use some other poles as an example so that hopefully you'll be able to decide whether paying the extra money for the X Pole is worth it for your situation. Now, I use both the X Pole and the affordable no-brand pole sold on my website in my dance studios, and I have for years, and they're very safe and secure in my opinion. There are differences between the two, some strong differences, and that's why there is a big price difference. And so we're going to go over that. Now, I don't recommend one over the other. I stand in between, and the reason I don't is because whether you choose one pole or a different pole is entirely unique to your situation. Your situation in terms of exercise and use is different than mine. It might be different. You might weigh different. You might exercise at a lot lower level. You may not be, training to be the next pole fitness dance champion. You might just be a young lady exercising in your house, and you don't need a pole to meet those needs, and you don't want to blow out your pocketbook. And simply put, a lot of the girls that come in, they don't have a ton of money to invest in, experimenting in pole fitness, and they might want to invest a little to see if they like it first before they go for the big X pole. And so I'm just going to stand here and be as unbiased as I can and give you an honest review about this pole, how I use it versus other poles out there, so that you can decide for yourself what you want to do. Okay? So this is my XPert X Pole here. Now first I'm just going to take all the pieces out. I have the basic kit right here, which goes from up to 9 feet. Okay? And your pole's going to come with a base, of course, and the dome, and it's going to come in this nice bag. Now my first piece to note is the bag. A lot of knockoff poles, or even my affordable no-brand pole at this point, it doesn't come with a pole dance bag. Okay, the X-Pole dance bag is unique to X-Pole. It helps it be more portable, makes it easier to carry, and protect the chrome finish if you're going to be moving your pole around a lot. There is another pole out there. It's the Polestar dance pole. I recently did a video review on the Polestar dance pole, and I don't have anything to do with it, but I actually just want to bring it up and mention that it's the only no-brand dance pole out there that comes with a case that I know of at the time of the making of this video. And I'll put the link below for that Polestar dance review, but in comparison, the X-Pole bag is way better. And the reason is because they've shaped the dome to be dome-shaped. And you notice that, there's a curvature to all these poles. And their bag supports those features and rounds out to those features. It's good quality, it's thicker, and the zipper is made much, much better. And you'll see in my other review for the other pole, I actually broke the zipper on the first try. I have used this bag so many times and transported this pole so many places and abused this zipper, and it still works great. This is a great quality bag that this pole makes. Okay. So I'm going to pull all the pieces out so that you can see them. The biggest difference between the X Pole and again, we're reviewing right now, this is the 2014 model. I forgot to mention that to you. X-Pole does have older models. They're 2013 that also have the X joints, but this is the new model. As of now, it's the newest one they make at the making of this video. And then, of course, X-Pole has an even older model where it was the standard screwed together joints when the X joints didn't exist. So we're reviewing the new model. And it does have what they call X joints, and that's what these are. They're basically just almost solid chunks of metal. They are very, very thick. I'll give you a shot on the inside of these. They're very sturdy and basically support the joint so that when you're dancing on it, it enhances the safety of it. You're going to come with your extensions, 250 and of course a 125 mm, and then the dome piece there. I'm going to set the bag aside and push that to the side for a second, and then of course you're going to come with a handy toolkit. Now Xpole, their little toolkit with this little zipper rocks. Even with the no-brand poles, and it doesn't matter whether you buy my affordable no-brand pole on my site or even another cheap knockoff out there. Trust me, I've bought a ton of knockoff poles, and nobody makes a little tool bag as good as Xpole does. Not that I've seen, in my opinion. I know it's just a little tool bag, but I really love it. So the Xpoles will come together with the joints. And you notice you're going to have two different joints. One's taller than the other, and then the bigger one is for the larger pieces, and the shorter one, of course, is for smaller extensions. Now, your XPert X Pole is going to come with instructions on which ones to use, so I won't go into that. It's very easy. It usually comes with a DVD, and they do a great job at helping you put together your pole. And even if you don't feel their instructions are very good, this pole's so easy to put together, you can usually figure it out on your own. So I'm going to go ahead and slide these together, and if you notice, these X joints just slide together like this, and inside your sorry, I didn't mean to make that much noise. You're going to go with silver hex key, and basically you just, put it in there, turn it clockwise, and do the same for your other pieces. They slide together so easy. Now, and you notice, boom, I'm done putting my main pole pieces together. The benefit of the Xpole over the affordable no brand that I sell is that you still have to screw the affordable no brand together. Now, it just simply takes more time. It is easy to screw the poles together. It doesn't take a lot of effort. It's just that this X joint it is a little bit quicker and convenient is all. So, and as far as sturdiness, I can't, between the Xpole and the affordable no brand, I have found them both to be equally sturdy. I don't know enough about the making of the poles to actually come down to metal thickness and engineering issues to tell you which one is proven more safety or not, but just from everyday use and sturdiness, they're both equally safe. The X joint is incredibly strong, and the poles that screw together, as long as the metal is thick, now they're incredibly strong. Now there are knockoff brand poles out there that screw together, and they cheapen it by thinning the metal on those poles, and I've actually bought them and inverted on them, and they bent within a month. And so if you're a heavier lady, and you're doing this for heavy use exercise at home, you plan on inverting or doing some cool tricks, you need to be very cautious about buying a sturdy pole that's made with good quality metal. And it doesn't matter whether that screws together, it's an Xpole. Okay, so the next piece here is, I know that my ceiling height is, 8 foot. And so I already know the extensions that I'm going to be using. And so just for ease, I'm going to go ahead and put this together and not drag out this review video painfully long. Oops, I put that wrong piece together. So that's not much a difference there in terms of that. So this piece plugs in. This piece that I just pushed in is unique to Xpole. In the affordable no brand poles, it comes pre-installed on the top, and you can unscrew it out if you want. It's called an adjuster bar. But in the case of the Xpole, they have this handy plug that you can pull in and out. And that makes adding extensions or changing ceiling heights a breeze. Now that is a huge advantage over the Xpole has over the affordable no brand pole, is that if you want to do different ceiling heights, the Xpole is much more flexible and easier to fit that. If you plan on going on over 10 feet, I highly recommend that you just go with the Xpole and not the affordable no brand pole. And the reason is because with the screw together type poles, there is a limitation on the height that you can get out of them. You can only get 500 mm extensions or smaller for those screw together type poles. And with the Xpole, they have a wide variety of extensions for all different ceiling heights. So if extensions are your issue, it would be easier and to get the Xpole. So dome slides on like normal. That's about the same for any other, with the affordable no-brand pole or any other pole, you know. The better quality about the dome is that there are other types of dance poles for your house that don't even have a dome. Now there is all kinds of domes. Oh, how do I put this? There's a gray scale of domes. Okay, first you want a pole, the best poles have a dome that will cross 2 ceiling joists. Now, it's safer for use. If for some reason you don't install the pole exactly straight, or there's a mistake and you didn't get it quite high enough to the roof, I have actually found that this wide of a dome, even if the pole moves, it will catch itself and still ends up very safe. You don't have this pole come crashing down issue happen because these domes catch it. It has to do with the size of the dome, and it has to do with the rubber. The rubber is soft and it grips the surface like this. They actually make brand poles where they have cheapened the rubber, and the rubber slides like if it was on a slick surface. And that means that it'll slide when it's fully installed, and you don't want that. It's dangerous. So you want the good quality rubber, which both the affordable brand and Xpole have, and they both sport the wide domes and the cross 2 ceiling joints. Of course, the shape is slightly different, the bearings are different, and they're made a bit different, but they sport those qualities. Now, there are poles out there like that have smaller domes. I've seen, you know, that are only about this big. Some of them screw into the roof, some of them don't, and those are the poles that if they move and they're not installed exactly straight, they can come falling down on you. And I would just recommend that you go with a wide dome just for safety purposes, and avoid the poles with the small domes unless you're going to screw it into your roof. Okay? So I'm going to set this extension aside, and just while this extension's here, I'll give you a close-up of this. You're going to notice that the pole is the metal is rather thin, but not nearly as thin as per se a Carmen Electra pole, not cheap thin like that. I'll put a link below this video for the Carmen Electra pole that I did for that review. But this is a very sturdy quality metal. It's not flexible or bendable at all. I don't know what they made it of, but it's great stuff. Okay? So, slide the dome on. Next is the base, and the base is basically the same, you know, type of deal. It's just going to slide on like so, and then you can stand your pole up and install it. Now, you notice that the Xpole base is smaller, and with the affordable no-brand pole, you'll notice that it's much bigger. Okay? Now, big base, small base, I don't care. My personal preference is I don't care about the base size. It is nicer to have like a smaller base so that you're not stepping on it when you dance. But I dance on this one all the time, and when I step on it, it doesn't really bother me. So I think it's personal preference. However, I would say that the smaller base is a little bit better of a feature. So if you have the money, you know, and you like this feature, go ahead and pay for it. Both have the rubber on the bottom that I was telling you about, really important so that it doesn't slide when it's installed. If your pole's missing good rubber, it's a mistake. Avoid it, okay? 4 screws to make this base sturdy and solid so that the base stem is completely supported. This is what the whole pole sits on, so you want this base stem to be strong. There are knockoff brands out there, and they don't use any screws at all. I just did another, it's in the Polestar review video, where their base is just like this pinched piece of metal that holds the base stem up. They don't use any screws at all, and I'm not really certain how safe that really is. And if you notice on the, and I'll give you a close-up of this as well. If you notice on the no brand and the Xpole, they're both supported by, you know, 4 different screws. There's a structure there to support that base stem so that it's safer. Okay, so let's just slide this on. I'm going to go ahead and get my base ready here to install. Okay, now the other advantage that the Xpole has over the affordable affordable no-brand pole and a lot of other poles out there is that it installs from the bottom. Now, the install from the top on a lot of poles is very easy too. It's not hard. It's just that it requires the use of a ladder. And if you can take one step out of a process and make it easier, then it's easier. You know, it saves time. So there is that feature. But both of them, most poles are going to have what's called an adjuster bar in it. In this case, the adjuster bar is right here on the bottom. And on the affordable no brand, it's on the top. Now, even on other knockoffs, I've seen really bad adjuster bars. If these adjuster bars are wiggly inside the pole, and your pole is it won't install right and it's not safe. It won't seat as well as solid as it should if the adjuster bar isn't made correctly. So, and this bottom install, I prefer it over the top install. Sure, it's nice to not have to get out the ladder. So I'm just going to twist it, and in the X-Pole, you can twist the body of the pole to get this to install onto your ceiling. Okay, so it goes up just like that. Versus with the affordable no brand, you actually have to turn the adjuster bar at the top. So it's the same concept. You're still turning something to expand the pole out to install it. However, this is just a little bit easier because you can stand here on the bottom and turn the pole. And I'm just going to make a quick pass and be sure that this pole is on level because I don't have my level with me. I wasn't planning on installing it all the way, but we'll do it anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of a tighten. And again, I already know where the ceiling joists are in my ceiling. It's already been marked. I know where to put it. So I'm installing this rather quickly. Doesn't matter what pole you install, you're going to have to take some time the first time to know where it is safe to install these poles in your house. Because it doesn't matter whether you buy the affordable no brand, whether you buy an X-Pole, even maybe some of your cheaper poles. If you don't put it in the right location, it's not safe. Okay, so we have the pole adjusted up to the top, and the next thing you do is you just screw in these 3 hex nuts once they're aligned with the adjuster bar, and then you're going to pull up the adjuster cover and screw it in just like that, and you're done. Now, the adjuster cover is a very nice feature. You notice how easy it is to just pull it up and screw it on. In the no brand pole, the affordable no brand, the cover still pulls up just like this, only there is 2 little Phillips screws on each side, and you just screw those in at the top, and that's what holds the adjuster cover up. The other feature that I like about this is that as you climb the pole, you're never pulling down on the adjuster cover. The adjuster cover is at the bottom of the pole, and I just feel like that's just a better place for it, but it doesn't mean that it's any safer or anything like that. It's just a personal preference. So then the next thing that you do is you unscrew the little 2 hex keys at the bottom to make it either spinning or static. The affordable no brand does the same thing. You unscrew it and it'll make it spinning and static. And then, of course, all that's left to do is enjoy yourself. Okay? So, as you can tell, the bearings are really, really nice. The pole spins really easy, and that's a huge feature. If you buy a pole, I've actually bought a long time ago knockoff brands where the bearings in it were so cheap that it froze up on me after a month and my pole wouldn't spin anymore. And there's nothing more aggravating about paying the extra money for a pole that has both spinning and static features like the XPert X Pole does. And then when you get it home, it either doesn't spin very well at all to begin with, and that can happen. Or, in fact, I just did a pole that's the same pole star review below. It was brand new out of the box and the bearings were almost froze up on it. So you have to be very careful about the no brands that you buy, because if you buy a bad quality one, the bearings won't last. And I have never had a problem at all with X-Pole bearings. They're always very smooth, and it spins really nicely and smoothly. And there is no difference in terms of smoothness of spinning between the My Affordable no brand pole and the X-Pole in terms of the smoothness and its ability to spin. Maybe they make their bearings different and I don't know about that. I'm sure that they do. So I'm not a bearing expert. I just know that they both work really, really well. And you want your bearings to work well because the spinning feature, when you whether you're dancing for a pro or you're dancing for fitness, you're going to want that spinning feature. It is so much fun. My beginners have a lot easier time learning on a spinning pole than they do a static one, and so you'll just want to be able to enjoy that feature. And it is a reason that X-Pole does charge more. Both the Affordable and the X-Pole are both spinning and static poles. So I hope that that helps you get an idea about the difference between the X-Pole and other poles out there, and decide if the X-Pole is worth the extra money for you in your situation. As far as I go, I absolutely love my X-Pole, and I would recommend it to anyone who wants a pole. Have a wonderful day.